Greetings Nikon Z shooters. Now, Nikon have done a pretty good job so far of starting to build out their telephoto range. We're a little bit spoiled for choice. You've got the 70-200 at $2,700, the 100-400 at $2,700, the 400 f4.5 at $3,250. Then you've got the big boy, the 400-8 with the built-in teleconverter. This guy's $14,000. And then you've also got the even longer but slightly smaller 800mm f6.3 for $6,500. Plus, you've got access to all of those great f-mount lenses using the F2C adapter. If you're in the market for a used telephoto lens, check out my friends over at KH Camera. They've been in the business for over 40 years and they have the world's biggest range. Everything they sell has been clean, tested and checked and fairly graded, so you know exactly what you're going to get. If you use the codes I have in the description below, you can get a bonus 5% off when buying or 5% extra if you choose to sell some of your used gear to them. You can check them out in the description below. Now, the 400 is sublime. I've done a couple of videos on this. We'll put the cards above. It's great to have the 400. Then you've got the 1.4 times teleconverter there that you can just get to 560 in lens. But sometimes you want to go further and you want to go all the way to 800. So Nikon has the 1.4 and 2 times teleconverter. So here I've got it with the 2 times teleconverter. And a question I've gotten surprisingly often is, will this with the TC perform as well as the 800 native naked? So both at 800mm. Now, I realize that's maybe a theoretical, hypothetical question that you're not really ever going to contemplate. Once I have my $14,000 lens, can I bang on a TC instead of having to buy another $6,000 lens? But think of it through the Top Gear prism or glasses. Will my 2-seater Bugatti still outperform a 4-seater Maserati if it's towing a trailer through the Italian countryside? How's the handling going to be? How's the overall performance? And in this case, how's the image quality going to compare between the two? So today, this is going to be a simple head-to-head, 800mm. Let's see how they do. Okay, interesting. Let's find some more birds before I make any judgments. So this is the kind of moment where having a super long lens is handy. The birds are way far away here using a 300 or 400mm. You're not going to be close to filling the frame. And in this case, the 400 has that extra hidden advantage that I can just flick down the extra 1.4 TC, still be at f8 and get even closer. Something you want to keep in mind, if you're up at f5.6 and want a decent shutter speed for birds, and you're in a cloud-covered area or a tree-covered area like this, your ISO is going to be up at 2,000, 4,000, 6,000. It really does make a difference. Here, using the 800mm, my maximum is 6.3. With this guy being a 2.8 with the 2 times teleconverter, it becomes a 5.6. It's only a third of a stop, but it can mean the difference of being able to get that third of a stop lower ISO. In that small of a comparison, it's really not a big deal, but do keep in mind you know, if you have the option to just go to the 400 and f2.8, you're going to be at, you know, 2 stops lower ISO, and that can really make a huge difference to your final image quality. For me, I always want to be at the lowest ISO possible, but I know I've taken shots today at 8,000 and above. It's just not where I want to be on a high resolution camera like the Z9. Man, you got to give it to cameras like the Z9. The autofocus is pretty freaking incredible. Getting shots that you simply, you know, 20 years ago you'd be manual focusing, so it's 0.1% of photographers who can get the bird beyond the leaves in focus as it's moving around, 0.01%. Then 5 or 10 years ago where, you know, there was good autofocus but not this level, to now where it can pull out the eye, when the eye's gone, go to the body. You just get shots, you know, we talk about, do you need it, do you need it? I am getting shots that someone at my skill level wouldn't have got 5 years ago, let alone 20. So the 800mm is 2.4 kilograms. Add the body into that. Really, it is hand-holdable. You take a little bit of getting used to, but you know, for a few hours, fine. For a really long day, you might want to grab a monopod. The 400mm, it's not that much more actually, despite it being, you know, a fair bit bigger. It's 3 kilograms. Now, once you add the TC, that's another 270 grams. So 3.2, 3.3 plus the lens versus 2.4. At that point, you really do notice the difference. The 400 is still incredibly lightweight for what it is. I'm really impressed with it. I think it's a phenomenal lens. Oop, gotta shoot that bird. But once you add in the TC, it is a notable difference, and it may mean a faster shutter speed that you need to shoot with that counteracts the third of a stop faster aperture it offers you. Welcome to the Matte and Blue Show. This blue is the 400. You want to jump on? It's a beautiful lens, quite expensive though. It's like, I don't know if you have a concept of money, but it's a lot of monies. What do you think? You want to jump on? You want to bite it? Your pupils are dilating and opening again. Are you about to attack my face? You want to check out some pictures? Look at how its little feet are together, like it's really paying attention. Oh, hi. You scared me, bro. You do that a lot, Blue. If you're not already using the custom settings banks that these cameras offer, you really want to get it set up. Check out, if you're not already subscribed, my expert Nikon setup guide for mirrorless. It runs through the Z9 up to the latest firmware. Also, every other camera in the Nikon Z system shows you an overview of the camera, what each of the different controls do, plus an initial setup guide, all the different things you might want to customize, how to make the most of those custom settings banks, for example, plus a full run through of the entire menu. It helps you set it up for all the different ways that you like to shoot to get the most out of it. Links below. All right, so birds are one test. Lenses like this obviously have other purposes, including sports, different kind of unpredictability. Come out to a seniors game of soccer. It's what's on right now. So let's put them through their paces again here, see how they're doing in terms of focus acquisition and tracking. A lot easier to track a 60-year-old man running around the field than a tiny bird darting out of scene. Let's see how they do. So what do 80-year-old men and 5-year-old birds have in common? They exit the scene just as soon as you set everything up and start shooting. We got a couple of minutes of shooting before they called full time. Have to say both of the lenses are so good, really. If you're fortunate to get either of these, consider yourself very, very lucky. But the point still remains, is having the 400 with TC a viable alternative to also having a native 800? So far, I would have to say from here and the bird park that the 800 is performing beautifully. It focuses fast, it's reliable, the tracking is good. Of course, it depends on what settings you have set up for yourself. The 400, you just can't get away from it. The TC is going to rob speed and quality, but it's so fast and so good natively that even adding the TC, I have to say, I think the focus is probably a hair better than the 800. And without the TC, noticeably better. Having said that, these are probably still both better than any F-mount super telephoto lens that I ever shot with. So really impressive. I think the TLDR is, yes, the Bugatti towing a caravan still beats the Maserati up the Italian hillside. But let's head back into studio, take a look at the shots on screen and see how the image quality compares. Okay folks, back in studio now, and before I show you the sample files from these two lenses, do jump on over and check out KH Camera. I've been a customer of theirs for years now. They have a huge inventory of super telephoto lenses and stock changes daily. They get in all the different manufacturers. Being so big and having that history, they're able to offer a 180-day warranty on thousands of the items in stock. And as I said, you can get a bonus 5% off with the link in my description below. Okay folks, back in studio now. I've had time to go through the images. Both of these lenses are honestly pretty exceptional. If you get the chance to own either, congratulations. They are both backward. I know the 800 has better supply than the 400-2.8. Now you've seen a variety of images through the video. Taking a look at what I have here on screen, these are all the different ones I picked out from our shooting as potentials to include in the video. I went through and chose out some ones that I think are slightly even better. Now let me just go through and show you the difference. Now first off, let's take a look at the 800. So the bird park, it was really dark at times, so I've chosen ones that are at a lower ISO because, you know, the birds were in more direct sunlight. And pretty much all of these are shot wide open. So in this case at f6.3, and you can see it really is a beautiful performing lens. I haven't really done much to these. These ones at lower ISO, very, very little at all. When they were up at like 10,000 ISO, then I did apply a little noise reduction to them. But you can see some really nice results. There would be a couple of things that I have to point out though, and we're going to circle back to image quality in a second, but I feel like the bokeh on the 800 is a little hazy, a little bit distracting overall. Sharpness, fantastic. Focus, all of that, fantastic. All looking good. I just don't think that the bokeh looks that great, to be honest. Now, just jumping back to the 800, there was another one here. If you take a look at this one with the net blurred out in the background, it's just become quite distracting in my opinion. Now, taking a look at some taken with the 400mm lens. Now, first of all, without adding the TC, the 400 just at 400 at f2.8, there's not a lot in the Z range, and that's saying something that can keep up with this in terms of image quality. It's just supremely good. Once we include the 2x teleconverter, you know, we're at f5.6, so we're looking at higher ISO images here with the birds. But overall, I think the bokeh with this combo is better. And just smoother, silkier. You're talking 5.6 to 6.3. That's really not a big enough difference to be accounting for the bokeh. I think it is actually the lens just does better with the autofocus areas than the 800. In terms of sharpness though, with the TC added, I think the caravan effect is in effect here. It's not as sharp as the 800. Without the TC, it's way ahead. With the TC, it's behind. I think that basically sums up my overall finding. They're both great. In terms of focus speed, acquisition, and tracking, I think the 400 with the TC actually has an edge on the 800. In terms of background blur, I think the 400 and TC are ahead. In terms of sharpness and contrast, and maybe it could be partly accuracy of focus, then I think the 800 has the edge over the two. But still, at whatever it is, $6,000 and $14,000, these are both super primo lenses. You would expect the best, and you really are getting it. Check out the sample files over at learn.mattgranger.com. Whilst you're there, you can check out my complete Nikon Z setup guide. If there's any other showdowns that you would like to see me do, please let me know. I'm in a really fortunate position that Nikon Hong Kong are forthcoming with allowing me to loan this equipment. So whilst I have the opportunity, I'm happy to do more for you guys. So let me know as a comment below. And if you've managed to watch this far, leave me a comment, something to do with SpongeBob SquarePants, just to confuse the people who didn't watch this far. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.